not gonna say I don't worry about money anymore, but my biggest priority is making the coolest videos possible, and that's when my business has been most successful.
Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Michael, you're young. You're you like I said before we started the recording, I I feel like you're a very passionate individual. I saw what you were up to, and I wanted to give you the chance to present a bit the company that you're building. Short form Mike. What is this all about and how do you get started? It's been more than a year now.
It's been a little over a year, yes. So the origin story is this. I've always just loved making videos. I'm inspired by creators, YouTubers, Yes Theory, Casey Neistat, to name a few. Been watching those guys for almost a decade now. So I'd always been inspired by, I just love making videos. And I went to McGill and I was always doing for fun. For a bit of context, I was studying economics and finance in the honors program, a really, really intense program, very technical, very mathematic, and there's no creativity. So I would find when I was bored in class, what's the first thing I'd do? I'd pull up YouTube and I'd look up editing tutorials and I'd be editing videos just for fun, instead of paying attention in class. So I kind of, in my friend group, became known as the guy that likes editing and likes making videos. So one day I'm sitting in a cafe less than a little bit over a year ago with a friend, who's just started doing social media freelancing, except he wasn't so good at the editing part. And so he turns to me and he's like, Michael, I know you like making videos, and I was wondering if you had any advice. And I'm like, well, yeah, of course, just let me know. And he keeps asking me questions over the next 30 minutes. And at some point, he just turns to me and he goes, Michael, I'm so sick of this. I don't want to learn how to edit. I don't want to learn how the algorithm works. I don't want to learn how TikTok works. How much can I pay you to do this for me? And so that was my first editing client. And then a year and a half or a year later, we're still working together. And I've evolved into a lot more than just an editor. So at first, that's what I was doing. And I got a second, and then I got a third client. And then it was around January that I went full time. I was making enough where I could survive, let's say, but I knew that in order to make that next step, I needed to go all in. So started off as just an editor, but then I realized there's something more powerful as well about helping people with strategy to build their personal brands. Where instead of just they send me clips, I send it back, and there's minimal communication. What if I help them with their social media funnels? So if they have a product that they're selling, how can I help them capture viewers' attention with the way they write their scripts and set up their shots? So I'm almost a consultant in a way too. Um, that ultimately funnels towards the thing they're trying to sell. Because I was able to do it for myself, and now I'm like, well, why not help other people do that? So that's what I'm doing a year later. So there's a bit of editing, a bit of videography, but also a lot of brand strategy too. I'm doing that full time, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
Was it weird to ask your friend to pay you money?
I didn't ask; he offered. So that's why when I tell people this story, I almost tell them I never thought I'd be doing this. Who knows? Maybe if I wasn't sat in that cafe that day, maybe this wouldn't have happened. I feel like maybe it would have happened in some way or another. I've always loved making videos, like I said, but I guess I was prepared. I was prepared for that. But no, I didn't ask him for money, but I maybe hinted at it, we'll say. I didn't say no. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, in the early stages, I think the biggest challenge is probably getting yourself out there and letting people know that you exist and you can offer the service. And let me tell you one thing. I completely understand what your friend said. I don't want to spend 6 hours of my day figuring out what's the best way to edit, what's the best way to fool or win the algorithm. A lot of people just don't care. They just want something that works. And that's why people delegate to people like you, because they trust that someone is an expert in the field. So, as someone starting off, so you're in college, you have friends, that's your entourage, and they kind of know you. So, how do you expand beyond this? How do you start growing your own brand outside of your comfort zone and your friend zone?
So I would actually say that's kind of the first step. Is what I tell people is when someone comes across my content, I'm not necessarily trying to sell them something in that one video. I think a lot of brands, when they offload work, like editing work to me, they're like, oh, we expect one video to make us X amount of sales. I tell them that's not at all how that works. What needs to happen though is that you basically monopolize the thought in your, at first in your friend group's mind, but then slowly that naturally expands on its own. So where if anyone at any point needs a video, because I make videos so often for myself, I'm the first person they think of. Maybe not today when they see one video, maybe not in a week from now, but maybe in a month, 2, 6 months, even a year. I have people that I met 2 years ago that saw what I was doing and they're like, oh my goodness, we met one time, but I see you're doing really cool things and I want to work with you. But that's a process that happens naturally on its own. So the way that evolved for me was, like I said, I kind of became known as the person within my friend group and immediate circle as the video person. But then what I did tangibly was I started editing for clients last September, but I wasn't posting on my own social medias to promote myself until late December. But that's when, just by posting every single day consistently, you don't need thousands of followers. Up until I didn't reach 1,000 followers. Right now I'm at about 4,500 on Instagram. I didn't reach 1,000 followers until March. 1,000 followers, it's a lot, but it's not what these huge influencers have. But just because I was consistent, and even from people who didn't follow me, they saw what I was doing. They recognized me as the guy who is from Montreal, has this cool story from McGill, has this unique background. Even if they didn't know me, maybe the friend of a friend or a cousin or whatever it is, because I was just showing up every single day, almost being annoying on social media, you the world kind of gives back the effort that you put in. So I think that's the best way to explain it. It's a process that really happened naturally, but you have to put the work in. That's, I think, the only secret.
Mike, let me ask you this. How much of it is passion and how much of it is, I think this can make me money? So if we're being frank with each other, is this like I'll
Yeah.
tell you why. Tell you why. So over the years, I started a lot of things that I just stopped because I got bored, because I started them because I thought they were money, they were cash cows. That's what I thought. But after a couple of months, you usually like, okay, you know what? You don't have the motivation anymore because it's not something you're really passionate about. So the only true way to stay consistent if it's just something that really means a lot to you. That's why I'm asking you this. You've been in this for a
Hmm.
year and you're still going strong. So talk to me
Yeah.
about this.
I think the thing I tell people with this sort of stuff is um, I don't, I'm not gonna say I don't think about money, but for me, money is just a medium to do the thing that I love. If I can put food on the table, I can rent, and then obviously pay rent, and then pay for a few nice things after that. Of course, I'm thinking long term about like starting a family, etc. But I'm 22 now, so there is net pressure here. Right now, for me, money is a medium for me to be able to live and for me to make videos. Yeah, I do this because I absolutely love it, and money has come on its own. Someone I take a lot of inspiration from is Harley Finkelstein of Shopify, who actually has the Montreal offices here in Montreal now, which is great. And he's kind of become he followed me a while back, and we'll say he's become like a not a direct mentor, but let's say I look up to him, and we're in contact because we've made some videos together. And what he says is entrepreneurship is about value creation. And at first, I didn't really get what that meant. You hear these buzzwords and you're like, whatever. What does that mean? And why would I listen to a guy that's like so far away from me? I just need to think about myself here. But what he meant by that was if you do cool things and people are genuinely inspired in one way or another by your journey, they're willing to pay for it. And at first, who knows? For me, at least, that was only 40 or $50 per video, which is great as side hustle money, but that's not enough. I got to be making hundreds of videos per month in order just to pay rent, right? Or just to survive. But what I realized though in the long term is like, okay, do this because you genuinely love it. And because people can see that passion, they're going to want to work with you in one way or another. Your friends are going to help you connect you to people that are willing to pay you. And then there's a point where I kind of passed the like, oh wow, I can actually live off of this. Where I'm not gonna say I don't worry about money anymore, but my biggest priority is making the coolest videos possible, and that's when my business has been most successful because people can see it. People can see I'm passionate. Because they can see I'm passionate, they want to work with me because I bring that energy to the clients that I work with. Bit of a long answer, but I hope that gives a good summary.
That's great. Let me recenter this a bit from a more
Sure.
business perspective.
Yeah.
Um, you have 24 hours in your day. We were talking about the $40 video, $100 video. Fine. Where do you see this going? Even if you're pricing your videos at
Hmm.
200, 300. I mean,
Yeah.
is this the objective? Make a name for yourself so that you're able to charge a lot more per video? Or do you have a strategy to scale beyond your 24 hours? Because if you're a service business and you're just this one guy,
Yeah.
I mean, Mike, if you're doing this 23 hours a day and sleeping 1 hour, you still have some kind of ceiling. So,
Yeah.
are
Exactly.
you thinking about that stage or are you still not really?
Frankly, not really, because I'm enjoying this enough where, of course, I'm thinking long term, but my real long term goal is to become the greatest creator in the world. Um, and I don't mean that in terms of numbers. I don't actually know what that means yet, but my dream has always been just making videos for myself about the things that I like. And it's almost like I kind of said this before, but I almost stumbled into people paying me. I didn't ask for it, it just happened. So my videos are just a medium, well, for me to have fun. And then by me having fun, I kind of just happen to get paid for it. And of course, we can get into the nitty gritty of how I strategize, all that. But it's like a positive feedback loop of gears that turn where by me having fun making videos, then that's proof of concept right there. Brands see it and they reach out. I almost do zero outreach because it all just comes to me just because brands notice that I have fun with it and I'm good at what I do. You can see it in my content. Um, and then I guess to answer your question more directly, do I want this to become a massive marketing agency? Frankly, I don't. I want, of course, if it happens, it happens. And I may need to hire people because right now, I mean, I got to pay for things, you know? I'm not at a point where I'm getting $1,000 brand deals where I can just live off of brand deals and that's really it. I don't have to do the agency thing anymore. That would be the dream. That's what I want next. But in this very moment, that's not uh, that's not reality. So but this agency thing, it's cool, but it's not what I want to be doing long term. I want to be telling stories that have an impact on the world that inspire young people like me to go after their dreams. Because in high school, I was being in a multicultural background. When I moved back to the US, I didn't really have any friends. And so what I do, I'd watch videos. Videos were how uh, I guess, dealt with my loneliness. And so I want to do that for other 15, 18, 20-year-old kids around the world. So that's the long-term vision to become the greatest career in the world. And then we'll see about the agency thing. But of course, I've thought about offloading. Of course, I think about pricing. I think about is one $200 project that's going to take me 2 weeks to complete worth my time? You know, I think these are things I think about all the time versus a project with, let's say, just throwing numbers out here, $100,000 that I'd have to give up all my other clientele for just to focus on that. It's a game of opportunity cost that I'm constantly thinking about. So I think, I guess I didn't ask, but I guess giving general business advice, a lot of what you charge for in a marketing agency or in a service is the opportunity cost of not taking on other gigs with this offer. So yet a question you have to ask yourself, okay, is if this is the only thing that I'm going to be working on for the next 2 months, is the price that they're giving me worth the time and worth me not taking other clients and worth, things like sleep, free time, social life, etc. So those are things I think about. And obviously scaling, I need to think about those things too, because then that's when you deal with things like paying employees, etc. But I'm not quite at the scaling point yet. I'm at a point where I'm still enjoying doing everything myself. I like keeping the extra money. I can buy nice things. So yeah, I mean, it's only been a year, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I'm learning a lot too. I'm only 22. And these are things that I don't think a lot of 22-year-olds are thinking about.
Well, Mike, I'll tell you this again. I don't care what people do. If they do it with passion, I believe in them. And I see the passion and
Thank you.
I'm definitely going to be following closely. So I'll ask you this. I feel like a lot of people have really short attention span nowadays, right? So short form videos is really something that's exploding. Do you feel like this is something you want to spend? Because I'm just basing this based on the what you just said, because you said you want to tell stories.
Mhm.
So do you feel like this is where you want to concentrate your focus, being the best at maximizing the value per second for like a 6, 10 second video? Or do you see yourself growing into longer form videos as well?
Absolutely. I actually started doing longer form videos. I think before I started my main page is Instagram. Before I started that, I was actually doing longer form, so 2, 3 minute videos. But I realized once I started editing for clients, like yes, I just told you that I'm not really looking to expand the agency, but at the same time, that is how I pay for things. So I realized I had a lot more fun and it was a lot easier to get a lot of high quality content because it's a lot harder. Well, it takes a lot more time to make a 10-minute long form video than it does to make a 1 minute short form video that I can kind of pick up my camera with um, and just do on the spot. Obviously, they take planning and skills, but anyways. So for now, short term is what's working. Short form is what's working. It's how I'm able to get clients, but also more importantly, I'm having fun with it and I'm able to produce every single day. So while I'm at the stage right now where I'm not, like I said, not getting brand deals. So the way I make money is through the agency. I'm happy to stick with that for now. But long form is a great way for people to get like deeper insights into your story. It's a great way because there's only so much you can say in 60 seconds. So I'm not sure when that's going to be, but it's definitely a goal of mine. But let's say for the foreseeable future, I'll be sticking with short form. Just because of the things that you said, it's really easy if at the beginning of almost every video I say, "Hey guys, I'm Mike. I make videos for brands," and that just gives a little what's it called? Like a little something in their mind that says, oh, okay, even if I don't need videos now, at least I know this Mike person and he's doing cool things. It's a lot easier to capture people's attention when it's short form because you can get to the point and you have to get to the point. And so that has two functions, right? It's me selling what I do, but then also like I also pay attention to make sure that every single word I put in this video has a purpose and meaning. Um, so it's a way for me to have fun. I love doing it, but then I do have to sell at the end of the day as well. So um, yeah, I think that kind of summarizes why I'm sticking with short form for now, and then we'll see what happens in the long term. But I'm not too worried about that.
Michael, let me close with this. What's
Mhm.
the biggest learning you've had over the past year, specifically about growing your brand?
Uh, the biggest thing would be if your only goal with growing your personal brand is to make money, you're going to lose. You're going to fail because for me, when I started making videos, I was very slow to gain followers, but then something picked up. I had one video or two videos that really, really got a lot of views, and I gained hundreds, if not thousands, of followers from those. And then that obviously snowballed into business, etc. But context matters, which is I've been making videos for fun for the last 8 years where I was getting absolutely nothing. Right. And I think that shows in the skill set I have today where I actually know how to use a camera. I know how to deal with lighting, settings, all that stuff. And I don't think, I mean, you said it before, a lot of people don't want to learn that stuff. The thing is, I absolutely love it. I don't mean to say that you need to know all these things at first when you want to build a brand, but you have to be willing to learn and you have to be willing to understand that you may not see results straight away. A lot of brands, people that start doing this want results straight away. And I'm just telling people now that may not happen. And the ones that you do see with hundreds of thousands of followers, there were years that they probably weren't making anything, that they were really suffering alone, editing by themselves in their room. That's something that a lot of people talk about. So I want to share that as well. So the biggest advice, don't look at numbers. Make your first 30, 100 videos. Then after that, look at numbers. But people after making two videos complain that they only have 10 followers. And I'm like, well, you've been doing this for 2 days. What did you expect to happen? Right. But for some, it's normal. Practice makes perfect. But people, for some reason, when they think about social media, they want quick results. But does it take quick results to, can you get your body in just, your dream body in just 2 days? No. It's the same thing with social media. So that's what I would say. Make your first 30, whatever, 100 videos. Don't look at numbers and make sure you actually enjoy it. That's the big thing.
Michael, like I said, I love the fire, I love the passion. Thanks for coming
Thank
on.
you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.